if it's okay with everyone, maybe we can start the video and just play it all the way through. And then, if people have like questions during the video, they can comment and I can like comment back, but then like we can save the sort of face-to-face virtual questions for the end. Is that okay?
My name is Ethan Pringle. I am a professional rock climber from the Bay Area, and I have been climbing for 25 years. And I have been trying really hard on vertical rock challenges, vertical climbing challenges for most of that time. Almost every time I go climbing, I am trying to challenge myself. So I've learned a thing or two about becoming a better climber and being what you might call an expert climber. And one of the things that I've learned is that beta and micro beta and the ability to figure out better beta are cornerstones of advanced and expert climbing. It can even take your ability level from sort of a beginner area to an intermediate area like that. Once you discover how to find better beta, you're gonna up your game immediately. It's all about the beta. We're at Mortar Rock in Berkeley, California, which is in my top 3 least favorite bouldering areas in the world. And I am attempting the first move of a V13 called Chinese Connection that was FA'd by Greg Lowe in, I think, the early 2000s, maybe even the late 90s. Nice, dude! When climbers say beta, what do they mean? Beta essentially means where you put your hands and feet on the rock. Basically like the sequence that you use with your hands and feet to get up a rock challenge. For instance, in the gym, oftentimes it's fairly obvious what the beta is. Outside climbing is a far different story. Outside climbing, it can be really hard to see the footholds. It can be even difficult to see the handholds at times. The rock can be a lot of different colors and can disguise footholds and handholds. Sometimes the footholds can be really small and really tiny features on the rock that you wouldn't think would come into play end up coming into play. So rock in general is just much harder to read than the gym. Okay, so we have beta, right? Beta is where do I put my hands and feet on this climb, period. Micro beta is basically like the fine tuning of that beta, right? So not just, oh, my hand goes to this feature, my foot goes to this feature, and then this hand goes to that feature, and then it goes again, or whatever, you know? Micro beta is like, okay, so where exactly on this feature do I place each finger? How do I grab this hold? How do I engage with this hold? Is when I do the next move, are my hips staying square to the wall, or am I turning my hip into the wall? All of that stuff would fall under the category of micro beta. Beta that works efficiently for you and your body and your skill set, and then fine tuning it with pieces of micro beta, it's vastly important to climbing difficult climbs. Come on, Katie. Yes, come on.
Come on, Katie.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Yes.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Oh my god, you are making a link.
Will, how important would you say beta and micro beta are?
Beta and micro beta are indispensable to sending your projects.
Why is beta so important? Well, if you're trying something near your limit, I think as climbers, especially as newer climbers, we tend to put a lot of emphasis on strength and endurance and finger strength, and we talk about people's ability level in terms of how strong they are. When you gain more experience climbing on rock, you start to realize that actually, of course, being strong and having really strong fingers does help a lot to, climb harder climbs, but experience and being able to read the rock really carefully and focus in on the smallest details is far more helpful than being strong or having strong fingers. To give an example, like, I am not even close to like the strongest pro climber in the world in terms of like being able to do really impressive things in the gym or being able to do really impressive things like on training apparatuses. I actually can do pretty hard problems in the gym sometimes because I'm so experienced and I just know how to move my body up the wall really efficiently, but I am nowhere even close to the strongest climber in the world. But I've climbed 515B and V15. How is that possible? Well, one of the reasons that's possible is because I am extremely adept at looking at the wall, at the smallest details of what my body is doing, and fine-tuning every single move on a climb until I can climb pretty difficult sections of rock or in the gym with the least amount of effort. A lot of that is just knowing how to stay relaxed on difficult sections of climbs. But a lot of that is also knowing how to grab holds in an efficient way, knowing how to, use my hips and the rest of my body in an efficient way that gets me up the wall with less energy. The thing that separates, I would say like intermediate climbers from advanced climbers and advanced climbers from elite climbers is that the more experience you gain, the more you start to realize, oh, if I just take my time and like figure out the easiest way to do these moves, I'll be able to do them with much less effort, and I'll be able to connect the whole climb together with the strength that I already have. It's not like I'll have to go back in the gym and train for a season or a year or whatever and then just come back stronger. No, I have the strength to do this climb right now if I just zero in on the details and try some different stuff. So this has happened to me multiple times in my 25-year career as a climber and, my 15+ year career as a professional climber. The earliest example I can think of when a piece of beta just helped me get up a climb like that was actually one of the first, probably the first sport climb I ever projected when I was 13 years old at Mount Charleston, Nevada, is a climb called Screaming Target, which is probably not a climb that a lot of you have heard of, if any. I'd be surprised. But it's a 13C. It's a really beautiful line at the hood at Mount Charleston. And the first time I ever tried it, I think I was 13. And I one-hung it, which means I went up it, I fell once, I rested for a couple of minutes, and I pulled back on and I went to the top. And you'd think, like, oh, you're gonna do it next try for sure. Like, if you can one-hang it on your first try. I mean, if I saw someone one-hang something on their first try, I would just assume it's in the bag, next try for sure. Guess what? 10, 15 tries later, I still hadn't done it. And I went back for multiple trips and I fell on the exact same move every time, like it was just fate or something, like it was clockwork. I'd get to the move and I'd be a little bit pumped and it just wouldn't feel right. And I could tell that it was the only move on the route that A, I didn't really like, and B, just like didn't quite make sense for my body. And I think almost a year passed between the time that I first tried it and the time that I eventually did it. And I probably tried it, I don't know, 15 times or something between those two in that year-long period. And eventually I had enough of falling off this move, and I stopped there and I looked at the wall for maybe 2 minutes, and I realized that there was another foothold about a foot lower than the one that I had been using. So I tried that move that I had been falling on with this lower foot and did it quite easily. And I was like, well, maybe that'll make the difference. I lowered down to the ground, rested 10 minutes, and fired the route on my next try. Like, and it was like so easy. The move felt easy from the start. I mean, it just fit my body so much better. And I don't think that was the exact point that I realized, oh, beta, vastly helpful. I think it took some years still for that idea to really settle, and for me to like be a firm believer that it's all about the beta. But that was the first instance that I can remember where beta made a huge difference. Since then, pretty much, like, especially on boulder problems and shorter sport routes, beta, like finding better beta has given me the biggest breakthroughs on long-term projects, and also made it so that I could send long-term projects. Like the hardest boulder problem I've ever done, the Nest in Red Rock Canyon, Nevada. V15, Jimmy Webb and Daniel Woods put it up. They both used different beta, and when I first started trying it, I was basically trying it with the method that Jimmy used to send it, and I could do the moves and even do the crux section on its own a lot of the time, like a fairly good percentage of the time. And so I was like, well, I can do that section. I'm just going to start trying it from the bottom. And the section of climbing before the crux section, it doesn't add a ton of difficulty, but it does get you a little bit tired. And you get to the crux and there's not as much chalk on your skin. You're like slipping a little bit. So friction does play a part in that.
Got this, dude. Come on, Ethan. Stay in it, dude. Come on. You got this, dude. Come on, man. Come on. Oh!
I would get to those crux moves from the bottom and I could just never get past them. And I fell on those moves for 2 years. During those 2 years, other people came and finished the problem with different beta. So many times that after 2.5 years of falling on the section of this 15-foot long rock climb, I thought, well, heck, if, 4 out of the 6 people who have done this climb now used this one particular method, maybe that's the easiest method. And I had tried it this way before, and it just felt weird to me, and I kind of told myself that like it wasn't going to be any easier. But one night, after watching my friend Keenan do the crux section with this prevailing method that 4 out of the 6 people who had done it had used, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna commit myself right now to figuring out how to do the crux section with this prevailing method, with this alternate beta. It was kind of like a monkey see, monkey do moment, which, is sometimes the case. That's sometimes what we need to switch our mindset from I don't think I can do it that way to I think I can do it that way. I watched Keenan hike it and I was like, I think I can do it this way. I just have to figure it out. And so I tried this prevailing method that 4 out of the 6 ascensionists had used over and over, and at first it wasn't really clicking, and then I was like, well, it's like a really long move to a good hold, and I sort of imagined where my body would end up after sticking the move, and my lower hand is pretty low, and I thought, why not treat it like a mantle almost? So I go to this intermediate, and then I gain a little bit of momentum, and I sort of pop up to this higher hold. But instead of just like popping and reaching for it, why don't I keep pushing with my lower hand? Sure enough, the first time I thought, okay, keep pushing as I tried the move, I did the move easily.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yes!
And I had tried that move 30, 40 times over those 3 seasons, and it never felt close. Like it always just felt just a couple inches away. I could never quite do it that way. But as soon as I thought to myself, okay, treat it like a mantle, keep pushing, stuck the move, stuck it again, did the crux section with that beta, and I was like, wow, this feels easy, like downright easy. Of course, I had spent 3 years falling off of the crux of this climb, so I had some real mental blocks to sort of break through in order to actually send it, but I ended up sending the nest with this prevailing method that most of the other ascensionists have used. And that just kind of goes to show, like, if you know that one method is used for, at least for people your size, on a specific boulder problem more than any other, that's probably the easiest way. But I was like, I had done it with the Jimmy method for so long that I thought I can do it that way and I should do it that way, but I switched my beta and I did it in a few more sessions. And that specific sort of move, I need to treat this move like a mantle, that sort of falls under the category of micro beta. But once I figured out that piece of micro beta, it was over. I knew, I made my, my mindset switch to, I'm gonna do this. It wasn't like, I'm despairing because I feel like I should do this and I'm not doing it. It was like, I'm gonna do this, and now it's only a matter of time before I finish it. And the number of times that that's happened in my climbing career is innumerable. I mean, I'm gonna say this one last time, it's all about the beta.
Are you sure it's gonna be one last time?
No, it's probably gonna be more time. I almost always operate under the assumption that my beta could use improving. And for me, on long-term projects or on short-term projects, I am fine-tuning beta almost until I do it. So I will switch beta late in the game. That is fine for me. One strategy on how to start breaking down climbs into their smaller parts and sort of taking a critical eye to what you're doing in terms of, is this working or is this not working? Try it once from the start and see where you get to. And whatever section seems like the hardest section, try that section on its own. So say, you get on a boulder problem and there's 2 or 3 moves that are fairly easy for you, and then there's like one obvious crux move or one obvious crux section. Once you've tried the climb once and you've fallen on the crux section, just try the crux section in isolation. So pull on to the hardest moves and, come up with a plan. Say, okay, I'm gonna try really hard on this move with this beta. You break the climb down into smaller pieces. So maybe the climb you're trying has a few moves of easier climbing and then a distinct crux move or crux section. So, you have the first 2 or 3 moves of easier climbing, and then you have the crux, and then maybe you have a couple more moves, and then you have the top out. So, what I would say a good strategy is give it a proper go from the start, and give it everything. Like, get all the information that you can about the climb before you leave the ground, and make a little plan in your head of what you're gonna do on each move. And it's okay if you don't know exactly where your feet are gonna go on each move, but try to map it out as best you can. And so, pull on, give a proper first go. If you fall, rest, and then pull back on wherever you fell. Don't start from the bottom every time. A sort of mistake that a lot of newer climbers make is thinking that they have to start from the start of the climb every time they pull on. You don't have to do that. You can pull onto the climb wherever you want. Wherever you can reach onto the holds, wherever you can pull on is fine. If you're trying to work out beta or you're trying to just rehearse a section of the climb. So my method is, I'll try everything from the bottom once before I start, breaking it down into smaller sections. But once I've tried from the bottom and I've identified the crux or I've identified, the difficult sections, I will separate them out. And so I'll say, okay, I know I can do the first 3 moves, or I know I can do the first 3 moves, but maybe they could use a little bit of work. I'm gonna set my my sights on just the crux section. Okay, what's the crux? It's, you know, just this move alone, or okay, it's just this move, or it's this move and the next move. Maybe it's a 2 or 3 move sequence. So you isolate that section, and then you say, okay, after that, the top out. It's a little bit of a question mark, but I think I could probably do it. Let's just focus on the most difficult part of the climb. Okay, what's the most difficult part of the climb? Is it 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves? Let's try the whole difficult part of the climb at once. Let's see if we can do that section. Okay, we can't do that section. Let's try just the first move of the difficulty. And, you know, keep trying single moves on the boulder problem until you know, have sort of identified the difficulties. And basically, like, in order to, you know, find different beta, you have to try single isolated moves on the climb different ways. So, you know, maybe there's the beta that your friends are trying, maybe you're at the boulder problem alone. You know, just don't be afraid to break the climb down to each individual move. And then, you know, just pay attention. Like, how am I grabbing each hold? Are there feet that I'm missing? Are there other hand holds that I'm missing? You know, can I match on a hold to make a big move shorter? Do I have to take my hand off the wall to decrease the distance that it travels on a big move? And really make sure to rest quite a bit in between each try. If the boulder problem is anywhere near your limit, it's going to require all of your focus and much of your strength. So you need to take decently long breaks in between each try. You know, don't just like fall off the climb and get angry and chalk up again and then just pull straight back on the wall. You know, if it's okay to be angry when you fall off the climb. I get angry too, but, you know, give yourself a minute, like recompose. It's not going to do anyone any good to just get back on the wall with that frustrated energy. And you can use that frustrated energy to sort of recenter, you know, notice it, recenter yourself, and really just prioritize each try. Each time you pull on the wall, make it count, you know? And it's okay if you have to try a move half a dozen times, a dozen times, 24 times. That move on the nest that took me basically 3 seasons to learn, I probably tried that move over 50 times before I did it, which is totally normal on the hardest boulder problem you'll ever do, totally normal occurrence. If the crux of the climb that you're working on is too high off the ground that you can just like pull onto it from the ground, maybe get your partner or whoever you're climbing with to give you a little boost, to take some weight off to get up to those moves so that you can try those hardest moves with more strength. You know, you don't waste any strength on the moves you already know you can do. So basically, you know, don't try, once you've tried the climb once, don't try it from the start every single time. Sorry, this is still point number 1. Getting ahead of myself. Right, unless the first move is the crux, you don't need to start the climb from the bottom each and every time. Prioritize each try. Give yourself lots of rest in between each try. Try different stuff. Get creative. You don't have to use the same beta that everyone else is using. Although, if a lot of the people who have done the climb that you're trying use the same beta and they're around your same proportions, it might be the easiest way. Don't be afraid to try the same move dozens of times. Sometimes it takes dozens of tries to learn how to just simply try hard on the move. Sometimes you need to break single moves down. Even single moves can be broken down into smaller parts. You'll pull on the wall. Okay, I can hold the holds that I want to hold to try to attempt the next move. Okay, you pull on the wall and you start making like you start getting your hand towards the next hold. Okay, I can do that. Okay, maybe you want to touch the next hold now. Okay, I can do that. Maybe you want to touch the usable part of the next hold. Okay, I can do that. Now you want to try to start hanging on to the hold. Okay, now I can, now I can, I'm feeling my skin on the usable part. I'm giving it some weight. All of those are totally normal steps between a move feeling impossible and it feeling doable or even easy. Cool. Okay.
That was way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breaking this move down to
What'd
its
you do?
to
Did
its
you just make it
individual
go?
parts. No, I just like tried a little bit.
Oh, crazy. What are you gonna try next?
I'm gonna try a little bit more. I'm gonna try to get my hand to the hold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mean when you try a little more, you just mean you try harder?
I'm gonna try harder.
Like you like clench your ass? Like what is trying harder?
I'm just gonna.
Like focus more?
I mean, I'm just trying like parts of the move.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm like pulling on, and then I'm pulling on and generating a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull on and try to get my hand to the hold.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna try the move, but I'm probably not even gonna try to hold on.
Yeah. We're just gonna try to like reach.
Try to touch the hold.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm projecting touching the second hold today.
Okay.
If you are trying the same climb over and over and you're falling on the same move over and over and over from the start, that's probably an indication of using less than ideal beta or less than efficient beta. So what I like to do on longer term projects is if I'm falling on the same move over and over from the start, I will stop trying from the start and I will focus just on that one move. And I will just start trying different methods, basically. Even if you've only fallen on the same move 3 times from the start, if you've fallen there every single time, it might be time to try some other stuff. I spent 2.5 seasons falling on basically the same move on the nest from the start, and it took me that long to really try a different method. Don't spend that long falling on the same move. Learn from my past mistakes. Even if you've fallen on the same move 10 times from the start, there's almost always better beta. Here's another example. I went to Spain to try this really cool Chris Sharma sport climb called El Bon Combat. It's right near Barcelona. I went there with this Brazilian dude named Felipe Camargo. He's a super duper strong, super accomplished sport climber and boulder from Brazil. I'd never met the dude before, but I could tell that I was going to be friends with him. So we planned a trip to Barcelona together a couple of springs ago just to try this one route, El Bon Combat. And so we're there, we're working on the climb together, we're, exchanging beta, we're having a blast, we're getting higher and higher together on the climb, and eventually we're both falling at what we think is like the hardest crux from the ground every time. And Felipe is getting a little bit closer every time than I am. Like, I actually can get to the crux a higher percentage of the time than Felipe can, but when he gets to the crux, he looks much closer on the move than I do. Felipe is just an inch or two shorter than I am, and the crux just seemed to fit him better. But for some reason, even if I was just a little bit pumped, I could not seem to come even close to doing this move from the start of the climb. I would fall there, I would pull back on, I would rest for just a couple of minutes, and I could climb sometimes all the way to the top of the route after that. But if I was just a little bit more pumped, like I was when I was starting from the ground, could not seem to do this move. And it was also the only move, just like on Screaming Target, it was the only move on the route that I hated. I'll just say hated, even though I didn't really hate it. I was like, I do not like this move. Not only is it shutting me down, but it just feels weird and uncomfortable. And so throughout this month-long period of projecting El Bon Combat, I would revisit this crux section time and time again and look for other methods. And I would tinker around with different methods. Chris had his method and he'd use different feet. and Jakob pretty much did it the way that Felipe did it, and I basically tried, and then I had my method, which was even a third way from those other guys who had done it, and nothing really seemed to feel good. It took me about a month of continuing to stop at this crux and try to suss out different beta, of finally finding feet that made the move feel good. Not only was the move easier with these new feet, it was more fun. Like, I enjoyed the move more with this new foot beta. But it took me a month to find this new foot beta. And you'd think a professional climber like me, who basically spends his whole life looking for better beta, like that's like my job description, basically, is like finding good beta, you know? It's like, if you were to ask other pro climbers, like, what is Ethan's, you know, skills? What is Ethan's, like, really, like, you know, skill in climbing? It's, they might say he finds really good beta, you know? He also, like, knee bars the shit out of everything, but that's another thing entirely. But you'd think that someone like me, who's like always trying to look outside the box and find better beta, would have seen or thought of these feet that I ended up using earlier. But it took me a month of revisiting this crux over and over to find better beta, to actually find the feet that I used that I ended up liking the most, that made the move feel good and made the move feel easier. So sometimes, really what we're doing when we're trying something for a long time that's near our limit is we're talking ourselves into the fact that we can do it, and we're finding better beta. We're refining sequences. We're, you know, trying different stuff, and sometimes it takes a long time to have that light bulb go off of, oh, what if I just try this? Like, how did I not see that before? Oh my God, that works so much better. And if it's a 15B in Spain that only 2 other people have done, it's not likely that, you know, there's going to be a plethora of resources to pull from. You're going to have to get creative, and you're going to have to find, you know, your own method, maybe that no one has ever used before, which is what I ended up doing on El Bon Combat. These are like fairly advanced climbing techniques, but if you start to practice with them early on in your climbing career, it is a huge game changer. Strength, being strong is good. Having really strong fingers is good. Having ripped abs is good. Having E9 pants is good. You should cut out the E9 pants part. Having mountain hardware pants is good.
Yeah, let's try again.
So, there is no substitution for having good beta. Being strong is great. Having strong fingers is great. Having a positive mental outlook is great. I mean, that's arguably just as important as having good beta. But having good beta is the best thing that you can have to get you up something that's near your limit. Because having good beta, like, if you are using bad beta and you're falling and falling and falling, and then you refine your beta and the move feels easier, your mental outlook is going to switch. You're going to be like, oh, maybe I can do this. In fact, I think I can do this. Whereas before, you're like, you know, I don't know if I can do this. It feels possible, but it's just not clicking. And if you can get up something without really good beta, like Jakob Schubert does on 15C, it's not near your limit. If you can get up something with crappy beta, it's probably not even close to your limit. Like, usually, like on Jumbo Love, I found really good beta, and then it took me 2 weeks or more to refine that really good beta and just like ingrain that beta and all of those moves into my system before I did the climb. Yeah, Jakob, you can climb 16A for sure. Sorry, buddy. Okay.
Totally grabbed it.
Yeah. I even thought for a half a second about trying to hang on. I considered attempting to hang on. You can even break individual moves down to their smaller parts, right? So you can be like, okay, I can hang on to these holds. Okay, now I can start to generate momentum towards the next hold. Now I can touch the next hold. Now I can touch the usable part of the next hold. Now I can try to hang on to the next hold. So You know, there's all these little nuances that go into each difficult move. Oh, okay.
That was awesome because you just fell out of frame.
Ow! I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
It didn't feel terrible.
No, I did the first move. And then I tried the second move. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think I might have stuck the first move, but I was like stuck. Yeah, no. Hey! Hey! Okay. So I might need to find a different beta for the second move.
Have you ever done the second move?
No.
Cool.
No, and that was pretty much my first time doing the first move.
Cool.
I know. Big deal. Oh, God.
Wow.
Fuck.
That came down with some force.
Huh?
But it came down with some force.
Yeah, I know. It did not want to be up there, did it? Oh my God, it's so gross.
Nice.
Help. Okay, well, I sort of did the second move. Dude, piecing it together. Hey! Hey! Fuck. Maybe you
Hey,
need
you
to
might
pinch
actually have to
this.
come back and project this for real. Oh, man.
In December,
Right.
after I train in Colorado
Yep.
for 2 months.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Be ready for it.
Yeah.
When Ethan says train, he just means climb.
Yeah.
Just so everyone's aware.
I'm training. Really, what I'm doing is training my skin.
Yeah.
Oh my fuck.
Take a break.
Step
Take a
away
break.
from the
Take a
boulder.
break.
Oh fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I need my left foot higher to do the second move. Maybe? Yeah. Anybody need bars right here? Just like
Somebody does.
Dave Graham would do it.
Dave Graham would do it.
Oh. Well, yeah. God. But then I think I'm going to have to move my right heel to do this move. To use this one. It's just a little close.
The other one feels a little far, not the right angle.
Gah!
I mean, so if
I do
there's
I do
you
tree. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
To make the breeze.
To make the breeze. To manufacture the breeze. Oh my God, wow. I hate this hold. Wow. I hate it so much. It's like tweaky. It's like really only good for 1.5 fingers. And then your index is like above it. And it feels like gross. Maybe like that. Oh. Huh? I was, and then I was like, I wonder if I can just do the move from here. I wonder if anyone's ever done that. That seems hard. Yeah. That's why I was just putting it, just for shits, like, I mean, I haven't done the second move with the higher heel. Just with a toe right here?
Yes, yeah.
Like a person on the internet or like in real life? Okay. Do you? Cool. Well.
It's a real beta conundrum.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what you do. This is doing it.
Let's do it. Yeah, so how do you have to hold it like that?
I mean, I presume people hold it like kind of like a little 3-finger pinch. Feels so tweaky.
Yeah, your wrist is not
really
in a good
hard to-
angle.
Well, yeah, and just like the way that your fingers and tendons are pulling.
Yeah.
Like, so much on your ring finger, I guess. That's how people hurt themselves. But I guess you could grab it like this. Maybe that's Try that once. Try that once. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Wow. Fuck. That sucks.
Wait,
Wow.
so was that better?
What?
Was that better? Or was that worse?
No, I mean, I was like able to sort of generate. I didn't really try.
And
but,
like you were on the wall for kind of a while.
Yeah, no, I felt like it's maybe possible. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's awkward.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that looked
maybe
really
this
awkward.
though. Maybe just a right toe.
Ooh.
Right toe.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is what projecting is like.
If you want to grab small
If you want to
holes.
grab small, really sharp, really slippery holds.
This is the place.
Ooh, maybe. Yes, queen. Look at.
Let's see. Wait, focus, and whoa, already.
Wow. Oh, a little too high. Fuck. Whoa. Damn. Okay. I'm shredding my skin, so I'm accomplishing something.
You mean you're building skin?
Building skin.
How do you know when you've rested enough? Like, what are your cues?
How do you know when you've rested enough? Well, it's
Or
important-
too long?
It's important to, I mean, at the very least, catch your breath. You want to be like calm when you when you pull on, nice and relaxed. So there's that. You know, you want to. Ideally, you want your skin to dry a little bit. Mine is definitely not dry right now. But nice, relaxed breathing, cool, dry skin. You want to give your mind a chance to like process the last few tries and make a plan for the next few. And yeah, you want. I mean, if every try feels really physically demanding, which it really doesn't for me, it's more about my skin on this. It feels like so far, and like the knuckles in my right hand. But if every try feels like it's zapping your core, or it's like really loading your forearms or your shoulders, your biceps or whatever, your core, your back, then you want to give your body a chance to kind of like recover a little bit. So that's like those seem like good determining factors / too much information. Oh God. Really extended off this left foot. God. Feels a little closer every time, but
Yeah, you
still
look
maybe
closer.
like not the way.
You don't think that toe's the way?
Well, and just I'm using a lower right hand. I'm trying to use this lower right hand.
Oh yeah.
It's not really working as well.
Mm-hmm.
God, ouch.
You
Also-
did come here to hurt.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Dude.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
I did move.
Woo!
Oh fuck. Straight to the side pull thing.
No,
No, they step right
Okay.
foot up to here or something.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
Toe hook this.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So he sent me a cool video. Instead of flipping their left hand, they keep it and just get like a high foot here, hit the side foot and then left hand to the side.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right.
I don't know if it makes it easier.
Right. Thank you. Cool. Ow.
Why did you drop off?
That is a good question. I didn't know what to do.
Might be like
It felt harder than this.
really?
Yeah, for sure.
Come on.
Come on, dude.
Come on. Come on. Ah. Yeah, that looks hard. So that's where Chinese connection it goes there. That's the end.
Oh my fuck.
It's really hard.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Do they
Yeah.
put their foot way the fuck up there?
I think it's on this
Yeah.
thing.
To go
That's
to
what I
that.
want to try, actually.
To go to that
The
thing.
side pull and then they just like. Okay. But then if you do that, you also have the option to go into the Egyptian air.
Right. Because then you can cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
First, when do you want me to push?
Until my right foot's all the way up there,
Okay.
please. Yeah. Okay, keep pushing. Keep pushing, keep pushing. What the fuck? People do
There
this?
you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Come on.
Okay.
Cool. There you go. Come on.
Yes.
The beta works.
Confirm the beta works.
Oh my god. That was terrifying.
One thing also is that the videos that I've seen, they don't even go to the thing that you just went to left hand. They just go to some toss up there.
This?
Yeah, they'd avoid that. They just
What?
go in and then go to one of the
Yeah, I'm not
some chassis.
Wow. I'm just trying to survive this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top out.
It's fine. Just being dramatic.
The pine needle.
I survived.
Yay.
You know, how to grab each hold, and it takes time to really notice what you're doing on each move. So make sure to prioritize every try. Really pull on and make every try count. Make sure to rest a lot in between each try. Need to. Even if you're only trying one move at a time, still, you know, rest for 5 minutes, rest for 10 minutes in between every try. And really, you know, make sure that you can give it your all every time you pull on the wall. And, you know, pay attention to what you're doing. Where are your feet going for each move? Really zero in on the details. It's not about getting to the top. It's just about, you know, figuring out better beta and learning the climb and learning how to climb it efficiently. For me at least, it feels much better to climb something really smoothly and efficiently on my 6th try than it does to have to try really hard on my 2nd try. It's not my steez at all. Yeah. I'm not known for wanting to geek out on the beta.
Not known for flailing.
I don't like flailing. No. That's why I like good beta. Yeah. I will flail because I like trying hard. And if I really want to do something and I only have a limited amount of time, I'll just be like, I think I have a good enough beta, and well, I don't have any more tries left, so it's got to be now. And so you just turn it on. But given, the opportunity to have as many tries as I want, as much time as I want, if I have that, I will, take my time and find better beta. And oftentimes, it's better use of your time to take it slow, take it easy, and really tune into the climb to try to find better beta and learn how to climb it efficiently. If you have 2 hours, don't try from the start every time. Forget about the start. Just break the climb down to its smallest parts, find the methods that work for you on the climb, and then start to piece it together. We demonstrated beta sussing, right?
So you giving up on Chinese connection for now?
So I'm giving up on Chinese connection for the day,
I just didn't.
but it's pretty warm and humid, not to make excuses. Plus, this is like my first real day trying it, so I'm psyched to come back though. I've pulled on a Chinese connection a handful of times over the years, and I've never been psyched to return, but I'm actually kind of psyched to come back and try it again someday.
I can tell. It's real.
It's weird.
Yeah. I have this on video so
I have a project at Mortar Rock.
Oh my god!
I know. Maybe someday I'll do them all. Yeah. It's all about the beta. It's all about the beta. I'm only gonna say this one more time. It's all about the beta. And the micro beta.
All right. I think that's it for the video. Can you hear me, Catherine? Cool. Well, if anyone has any questions for me, Manny, what was your beta on on Chinese connection? I don't think I can hear you.
Oh yeah, so pull on
Nice.
and then left hand and then left hand again, just like you were trying at the end.
Oh, okay. You have you stuck that move with your right
Yeah.
hand still in the start hold all the way to the high slippery side pull?
Yeah, and then
Nice.
I do like a drop knee to do the next move, and then instead of getting a heel hook to come into that final undercling, I just toe down and then I do it, and it's miles
Oh,
easier
okay.
that way.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
You
well,
gotta
next
try that
time.
way.
Next time I go. So you drop knee to come into the first sharp undercling.
Yeah, the horrible one that my
Okay,
pinky
cool.
is still healing from a week later.
That hold is savage. It's one of
Yeah,
the
dude, it's so
sharpest,
gnar.
most disgusting holds I've ever tried to use.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, that's awesome that you're close. So do you readjust your right hand in that starting hold to go again with the left, or do you just leave it kind of the same way that you pull on?
Yeah, so it depends. If I'm having a good day, then I can start with my right hand fully underclinged in that start hold,
Right,
and then I don't need to
yeah.
readjust. But if it was a little warmer last session, so I was having to start more side pull to get my butt off the ground, do the first move, and then like readjust up.
Right.
Yeah, more up.
Yeah. When I was there, when we filmed that, or maybe it was the time before, I was conceptualizing trying to start with my right hand like as an undercling. And I think I actually did try to pull on that way a couple times, and it was just like not going to happen. It's really hard to pull on like that. But that's awesome that you made that beta work. I'm psyched to go back and try it like that. And then you drop knee to come into the first undercling, and then you just toe in and come to the second.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And actually, another question, if that's cool.
Yeah, of course, as many as you want.
So you said this is kind of related about like beta. There's a video actually of you, the video of you on the nest, and you say like at the end you were like, oh, like looking at the climb, I was just like kind of dreading it, you know. And I was wondering, and that was like super interesting for me because like right now, not on Chinese Connection, but on this other project where like I've fallen off the last hard move, and I'm like 7 or 8 sessions deep. And so now it's like when I pull on, I'm like either I send, which seems like pretty unlikely to happen, or I'm not going to get up to my high point because that's happened like the past 2 sessions and we're just kind of regressing. But I think I have all the beta figured out, you know, so I'm not like looking for anything new, so it's not quite as exciting. So I was wondering if you had any like mental tricks or tactics to kind of help like that final stage of sending when it's like unlikely that you're going to send, but you're like not really looking for new beta.
Well, what makes you think, so I guess I have a couple questions for you in response to that.
Yeah.
What
totally.
makes you think that you're unlikely to send, and why aren't you still looking for a better beta?
There's not that many, well, because I fell off the last hard move like a few sessions ago, and now for like 2 sessions I haven't gotten back up to that move. And just like there are just so many moves that are like low percentage for me before doing the climb. I mean, every go I'm like trying to send for sure. And then for new beta, I've already changed my beta a bunch, and it's kind of like I want to stick with the same handholds and footholds so that I can really learn the body position, you know. Also but yeah, I mean, I could still look for different like beta as opposed to just like finalizing the micro beta, but I'm not sure because I don't want to like waste too many goes, you know, because I only have like a few sessions that I have time for and stuff. So I don't know. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Well, what climb is it?
Academia.
Oh, okay, nice. Cool. Man, I tried that once and it's so strange. The first move is like, I didn't get it. I was like, how is this possible? And B, why would anyone start all the way down here? But but yeah, okay. So I mean, I think that like, so what's your strategy when you go and try it? Do you just like give goes from the bottom every time, or?
Yeah, so what I've been doing, I've only given it 1 session this season. But what I did is like drive up there, same warm up, and then I do from a standing start, I do it to the top, and then I do all the middle moves. So it's like from the highest standing start, then I do it to the top, and then I do all the middle moves. And then once I've done all the moves, excluding the first 2, then I give it a go from the bottom. Because the first 2 moves are the hardest for me. And yeah.
Cool. Well, that's exciting that you're so close. I mean, I would say like the only thing to really do is like just keep trying. And sure. Like eventually you'll be like, you know, you'll just like surrender to whatever's happening. Like I feel like on a lot of my hardest projects, it comes as soon as I just surrender to the process and try to stop like controlling everything. So, but oftentimes it takes like a lot of effort before you can get to that stage. And, but yeah, like on the nest, I mean, the season that I did it, like you know, the previous season and the one before that, which was my first. So I guess this is my 3rd season trying it. You know, I had been falling on like the last move of the crux. And then when I went back in that 3rd season, there were days where I couldn't even do the moves in the crux, like in isolation. And I had like a whole, like half of a season of regression. You know, I don't know how many sessions it was, but meanwhile, Facundo came and sent it. Keenan started trying it and was like obviously going to send it really fast. And I was like, wow, I just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like I can't even do the moves. And then I was like, God, I have to try that other method that Keenan and Faku and, you know, Nale and Paul used to do it. And sure enough, that turned out to be the method for me. But I mean, I think for you, it's like, it sounds like you just need to keep trying, especially if it's only going to be your 2nd session of the season. And you have a
Yeah.
long time to try that thing before it's too cold. I mean, you can go there like as long as it's not snowing, you can go there in November or December and have like the best conditions of the year. So like the
Yeah,
season
totally.
is just barely getting going. So I'd say just
Yeah.
like, give yourself a break, go with the attitude of like as much curiosity and sort of,
Mm.
low expectations as you can. And, it sounds like it's only a matter of time, it sounds like you're close.
Yeah,
You're
hopefully.
falling on the last move. You're like doing the sections every time you go. So, I think like the only thing to really do is to keep trying. And then if you have like, if you have like weeks and weeks of a plateau, then maybe it's time to like try some other stuff, like obviously you want to make the most out of every session and give really good goes. But I think for me, like when I did the outer limits in May, like
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
so
figure
cool.
out. Well, I didn't figure out like the beta, like the really key foot beta that I ended up using to do it until like 3 or 4 sessions into it or something,
Oh, nice.
And then at that point, I just needed like good conditions because,
Yeah.
we'd go and we'd try and we'd have some good tries from the start, but it's not like the beta was like super ingrained into our movement and stuff. And then eventually, like we just had the whole first 3/4 of the problem on total lockdown, and then the good conditions came, and then it just felt easy. So I'm sure something similar will happen to you.
Nice. Yeah, so it sounds like you're kind of saying like not focus on like the sending as much because it's just like and just focusing on like maintaining good tactics and whether that's being curious with like micro beta or like bigger beta, and just focusing on giving like good goes and then just being like when it happens, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think like dial in the moves, dial in the sections, and sometimes you're like, okay, well, like on outer limits, I was like, I can do the start and I can do like the first 2/3 of the problem, and I can even get to the crux move on a lot of goes. But then, 3 or 4 sessions into trying it with Roman, he was trying this other beta at the start, and I was like, I'm just gonna try that beta just for shits, and then it turned out to be way easier. So it like made the rest of the problem easier, So I mean, yeah, I think like the more beta refining you can do, and the more you can like, do the moves in isolation and make them feel easier and easier, and kind of pay attention to all the details and stuff like that, those sessions go a long way. And
Nice,
and
yeah.
then what I meant by curiosity was like how am I going to feel on the climb today, just like instead of being like, okay, like I need it to go down today, or like I need to feel good on it today or whatever. You're just like, oh, like I feel good on it today. The conditions are nice. Like there's a cold wind, or like, oh, I feel crappy on it today. Maybe it's because I like didn't sleep well last night, or maybe it's for some other reason that I just can't possibly know. But I'm just gonna keep trying anyway until my skin is trashed, and
Yeah.
come back next time with
Yeah.
more information. So yeah, I kind of treat like, especially on boulder problems, it's different on like long routes if you've been trying them for a long time or whatever. But especially on boulder problems, I feel like almost every session is like an information gathering session,
Mhm.
until the
Every
session
session's
that
a beta session.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes I'm hesitant to try new beta because I feel like I only have like 5 good goes on that first move or on that first and second move before I start regressing because it's so intense on my right bicep.
Right.
And I like bust my knuckle. It's a whole mess.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's part of the
really
reason
wanna-
why I was like, I don't want to try this thing. It's just like
Yeah.
so intense right off the ground. But
So yeah, I
but
don't
yeah,
want to be
I
like
mean-
I'm gonna spend one of those 5 sessions trying something, or one of those 5 goes trying something like totally new. But I mean, still can.
totally. Well, then maybe maybe wait until the end of your session to try to try new stuff. I feel like for me, there's this
Yeah, that makes
phenomenon
sense.
of like figuring out the tired beta, which basically just means like you're really tired, but you really want to keep trying, which is kind of, sometimes it's hard to do on granite boulder problems because it's so friction dependent and so like skin intensive that once your skin is like trashed, it's kind of hard to like keep trying even if you're doing single moves in isolation. But sometimes I just keep trying anyway, and I figure out the tired beta, and then the tired beta ends up being the most efficient beta because you can do it when you're like totally trashed, So maybe get there and warm up as best you can, do a couple of the hardest moves or like a couple of the sort of most uncertain moves in isolation, and then just give, 3 or 4 or 5 tries from the start. And then once you've sort of like savaged the muscles that you really need for those moves,
Yeah,
then
I'm
you
not
can
going to
go
send
back
that
and
day then.
yeah, then you can go back and like, just try to link sections or, tinker with different beta or whatever.
Nice.
But
cool.
yeah, that's awesome that you're so close to Chinese and academia. Those problems are both so heinous and also like
Nice.
really similar in style.
Yeah.
No, they're I mean, I pulled on to the start of academia like once or twice and I was like, wow, this is like so strange and so hard. And Chinese feels like the same exact thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should go
Nice.
try Outer Limits, because I mean, to me that feels almost easier than those two
Nice.
things.
Outer Limits is like my life goal, dude.
Nice. That's awesome.
So
Well,
on that one.
I think like, the moves in isolation, especially with that beta that I found for the crux at the top, is a total game changer on that thing. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
I feel
Awesome,
like it's just
thanks.
us two having a conversation here. I mean, we can keep going. I don't know when Catherine, when does the United States of Joe start in like
I believe it starts
20 minutes?
in 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
But we can keep going until then.
Yeah, totally.
Virtual link. If anyone else has
Cool.
questions.
Yeah, anyone else? April, Jens, Roseanne, Sam?
I'm good. I'm just hanging out. Hey, Ethan.
Hi, April.
Walter says hi.
You guys can't say hi without asking me a question. That's the new rule here.
Ah.
Yeah. If you're gonna hang out, if you're gonna lurk, you gotta chime in.
Well, I'm the master lurker. Give me a
Especially
minute.
since we're
I'll
friends. Come on now.
Yeah. I'll come up with one. Let me think.
I have one, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it, Catherine.
Do you find that just watching your own climbing videos helps you figure out your beta? So sometimes I feel foolish filming myself, but I feel like it's really easy to see just like tiny things that I could do with my hips or just little different things. Does that help you? Well,
It's funny because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people film themselves for that reason, like for the purpose of, reviewing the footage and seeing what they can improve upon and stuff, and like kind of where on the problem they're struggling and stuff. And it's funny, like I've never, like, I feel like it usually when I watch the footage, it doesn't tell me anything that I don't already know, like before I watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, on that try, I definitely flailed a little bit at the bottom, or like, I feel like it's almost the opposite for me. Like I'll notice all these things while I'm climbing, and then when I watch the footage, like you just can't even tell. I guess I just film myself because I want the footage. I don't know. I'm like a narcissist or something, but no, I it's never been. I'm trying to think of like an instance where it's been helpful to review footage afterwards. I can't think of a specific instance. I mean, it's just fun to watch because you're like, yeah, like, clearly this is where I'm struggling, or this is like, I mean, sometimes when I watch footage of myself, I'm like, okay, like clearly I had more effort to give on a certain move that I fell on or gave up on or whatever. But I feel like I usually already know that before I watch the footage. Like when I come off of a climb, whether it's like a boulder or route, 90% of the time it's because like I didn't want to give 100% effort. But I feel like I can really tell when I watch the footage. I'm like, well, clearly I just gave up. Like I could have kept trying, but yeah. What was the last thing that you filmed yourself on?
I don't even remember. I climbed in shows for the first time last week, and since then I haven't climbed since February.
Oh wow, yeah, you really you took quarantine seriously.
Yeah, the South was a different. It's a little bit more relaxed out here.
Right. Yeah, a little bit more room for people, maybe. Yeah.
I definitely actually think I recorded myself on just a climb that I had no idea what it was the name of. It was out in Mill Creek in Chattanooga, and
okay.
just had no idea what I was on. So I filmed myself to find out what I was on. And
Right.
the internet is wonderful at answering your questions, especially if you don't know something. So.
Right, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. How is Sacramento treating you?
I'm actually in Salt Lake now.
Oh, you live in Salt Lake now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crazy. Well, congrats. I mean, that's an upgrade for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. Very
Cool. Do you see Ben and Gabby ever?
I mean, we consider them our quarantine family, like a part of our home, because we
Nice.
talk with them every day.
I'm so glad to hear that, and also so jealous. I love those guys.
Awesome.
Okay, April, your time is up. Hit me with your best shot.
So
I tried to
this is
buy
sort of-
you some time there, but now it's crunch time.
Darn. So sort of unrelated, I guess, to what you were talking about with beta. Walter and I are starting to lead more outside. So, I mean, obviously you're climbing really hard stuff, but how do you mitigate the sort of fear of falling and things like that as like a newer climber?
For sure. I mean, breaking into lead climbing outdoors is definitely a heady beast. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because outdoors I feel like there sort of is the perceived danger can sometimes be real, especially on easier things, because like if it's lower angle and stuff, maybe you'll like smack a ledge if you fall, or maybe it's like let me ask you this: how do you feel lead climbing inside? I mean, if you're like pushing yourself on lead climbs inside, where it's like maybe approaching your discomfort zone in terms of like difficulty and security and stuff, or insecurity. How do you feel then?
Usually, the hardest I've led inside was like an 11A, and I was basically like taking at every bolt. So I was just sort of moving through it bolt to bolt, just saying, just get through this section, and you'll eventually make it to the top. But right before the anchors, I did like sort of mess up a move, and then I couldn't get back down, and I did get like a little freaked out, but I took the fall and I was fine, and I was like, okay, I'll live, the next time around. But
right.
It definitely, I'm a lot in my head when I'm like, super freaked out about something.
Yeah, right, which is totally normal. And like I think pretty much every, person who's breaking into has that happen to them. I mean, I teach a clinic at Touchstone sometimes called Pushing Your Limits on Lead. And the first thing that I have my clinic participants do, here's a trade secret right here. The first thing I have my clinic participants do is take falls from the top of the wall. I mean, basically, like, if you, once you befriend the fall, once you realize that falling almost anywhere on the route is like no big deal, it opens you up it allows you to like start actually trying hard on lead climbs.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, if you haven't like befriended the fall yet, I feel like it's really like the uncertainty of the fall itself can really distract you from just climbing. And so like my best advice is to just go like, go climbing outside, of course, but like go back into the gym and befriend the fall. Like climb up, 4 or 5 or 6 draws, like a safe height up the wall, and start taking little baby falls. And then, take bigger and bigger falls. Like Andra has a video on his YouTube channel about this, and he lays it out really well. But I mean, basically you just want to get comfortable with the fall so it's not such a big unknown to you.
Yeah.
Once it's like a known quantity, once you're like, oh, falling is actually no big deal, and if you can break through to a place where falling is fun, then you've really got a huge advantage. So I would say, like, befriend the fall. If you can make it so it's like a fun thing, so it's like a roller coaster ride. I mean, that's kind of how it feels to me. Like, I love taking huge whippers. It's like, it's so thrilling. But I'm also kind of an adrenaline junkie, so there's that. But like, I mean, if you can just make the uncertainty and the big unknown of lead falling like this known thing, you're not going to be distracted by the fear of it anymore, and then you're just going to be able to climb. It's like people who are distracted by the fear of falling and distracted by the fear of the unknowns of the fear of falling on lead are just like, I mean, they're paralyzed. Like, you can't even climb. You can't even, if like, maybe you could top rope like 12A, but if you're distracted by the fear of falling, you might only be able to lead 10A or 10B or something. It's like your actual physical ability versus how hard you're going to be able to climb is going to be so different. But yeah, I would say just go into the gym and take as many practice falls as you can. Start small and work up to bigger and bigger falls, and then hope ideally eventually the falls will be fun, and then you'll just be a total badass. You'll go outside and you'll just be crushing 512s basically. So
that's the goal.
Well, I mean, it's uncomfortable to face that fear because it's such a huge unknown for people. I mean, it's like surrendering. It's like it comes with a lot of it. I feel like it brings up a lot of like our baggage and insecurities and stuff. But I think surrendering to that is so freeing. And then once you sort of like start to understand it and become friends with it, then it really opens you up to, to trying harder on the wall. So.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, fear is a huge distraction. That's pretty much all I can say.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're definitely trying to get out there more. We're actually going to Smith Rock in a couple weeks. So if you're in the area, say hello.
I will probably either still be in Rifle or I'll be in Boulder. But Smith is a wonderful area. It's like one of my favorite sport climbing areas in the States. And yeah, I mean, it's heady. It's like, it's a really committing style. Of course, there are like all those, juggy moderate, like slabby juggy moderates that are just like so joyful. But it's funny because even on some of those, like, it'll just be like 5-7 glory buckets, and then all of a sudden there'll be like a really technical 5-10 minus face section. You're like, oh my god, this is like really on you, so it's really on you. But I mean, that's a good place to practice falling too, because it's like really nice, and the walls are steep. It's nice and airy. You can try hard above the gear, and the gear's all solid.
Yeah, so I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I hope to see you soon at some
yeah,
point.
well, I mean, someday, hopefully the gyms will open back up and we can all go hang and stuff, and we'll be in touch if we maybe our paths will cross.
Definitely. You have any projects or anything coming up soon that you're like trying to work on, or?
Yeah, well, so my girlfriend and I are out here in Rifle, and I can pretty much stay as long as I want, but I would really love to do this 14 plus sport climb up at the Fortress of Solitude called Kryptonite. This thing that Tommy Caldwell put up in like, I don't even know, like the early thousands. And I tried it 12 years ago for 2 days, and I actually started to get pretty close on it. But yeah, I'm psyched to do that. It's one of the best, like, highest quality limestone 514 plus sport routes in the States. So I'm psyched to go finish that up. And then there's just like so many 514 routes in the canyon itself, like in Rifle, that I haven't done yet. And I could spend months here trying those things. But I probably won't. I'll probably try to do Kryptonite and maybe try to do one or two other things in the canyon, and then move on to Boulder. And there's a lot of boulder problems near Boulder that I'm psyched to try, and some bolted pitches too. So there's just like 1,000,001 difficult rock challenges.
Sounds like it's going to be busy for you. That's awesome, though, dude.
Yeah, and in between, hopefully I'll work on my van here and there and get that done. So I have a sweet road rig to live out of.
Yeah, I was going to say, it almost looks like it's finished, right?
No, it's far from finished. I mean, from the outside, it looks pretty slick right now, but no, it needs so much work. Like, yeah. So, but
Nice.
we'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you guys based in, like, what was it, Texas permanently now?
No. I moved back to California like in March, and then yeah, I've been basically in the Bay Area on and off since then.
Nice.
In my mom's house.
Hey man.
We're gonna be in Boulder for most of October and November. So
nice. That's cool. Rad, dude.
Yeah. Well, good catching up with you.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, don't be strangers. Say hi. We miss you. Hope to see you soon.
Well, tell Walter I say hi.
I will. He's out living his best life golfing right now. So.
Oh, beautiful. I'm sure it's a nice sunset golf for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So.
Manny, any other questions?
Yeah, dude.
While you got me for 5 more minutes.
The eternal question: are the pockets on Demon on a Leash chipped, or is it just like a perfect boulder problem?
I mean, can the answer to both of those be no? No, I don't know. I think that they're natural.
Nice. They're just perfectly placed.
Yeah. I mean,
I was just curious.
That rock, I think, just like randomly makes pockets sometimes. Nice. And I think that they're natural. Maybe it was like kind of loose rock, so they had to be cleaned a little bit more than the average overhang. But yeah, when I tried it, I don't think they're definitely not chipped. So, I mean, you can tell if you look inside them, you can see like rock scars and stuff. But yeah, no, I think anything else.
I feel like there's more questions. Oh, dude, I saw you like a super long time ago at this thing at Ironworks, like when Kevin Takahashi Smith was like premiering one of his films.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, dude, you should go do the Arette at Mickey's, and I finally did.
Oh, nice, sick.
So that was cool.
Did you use the chipped hold on that, or did you avoid the chipped hold?
Yeah, I avoided it.
Nice. That's a proud effort, dude. You're like a real hardcore rock climber, getting after it.
Yeah, if I ever send academia.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks for asking some questions and tuning in and stuff. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was super fun. Yeah, I appreciate all the insight. That's cool.
Yeah, my pleasure. Catherine, good to see you. Good to catch up for a minute.
You have to say Salt Lake next.
I will. Yeah, we were just there, but
here.
What's that?
I was gonna say that on video, we were just there, and Gabby and I were not.
I know. Well, Jasmine and I were only there for like 36 hours, and probably 10 of them were spent climbing in Little Cottonwood. So, but we'll roll back through. And if you guys come out to Boulder, yeah,
awesome.
You should let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
You and Ben and Gabby should come out to Rifle while I'm here.
I mean, definitely. I climbed at the Fins like 2 weekends ago. So
nice,
Gabby
sick.
turned me into a sport climber. So
perfect. Well, you're on you're pretty much halfway here then.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Good luck with the rest of the festival.
Thank you. I am being told that I have to kick everyone off because they can't start if we're in the Zoom.
Okay.
Oh wait,
okay.
Ethan, I actually did have a quick question. Do you want me to? I have like a video where I go into more detail on my beta on Chinese Connection. If you want me to DM that to you.
Sure. DM it to me. Yeah.
If you want.
I'd love to see it.
Bye.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks so much. Bye.
All right, guys.
Bye,
Have a
Ethan.
good
Take
night.
care.
Bye.
Thank you.